Then I got the wheel yesterday. Yeah. Do you want to come by when I yeah, I'd love to talk with you. Yeah, it's good to connect with guys that have done a million more feet. Yeah, multi-million more. Yeah, like mid-April. Yeah.
Okay, 6:45. March 8th. How's everybody today? Good. Good turnout. Thanks everybody for coming. This is great. Full house. It's great. And we got like 10 people on go-to training, so we're really getting some good momentum. Let's keep it going. So this week's promote the code. So that's our code item of the week. All those 11 topics, just think about it this week. It's right on our jackets. It's on our hats too that we hand out. Let's just promote and support each other. Let's keep cranking away. 63, another 7 days without recordable. Excellent job. Let's keep it going. Our exposures are going to pick up here. The work is going to come. Spring is going to come. So we're going to get a lot busier, and it's going to be really important that we emphasize that. So this week, got a lot to talk about throughout the whole safety presentation. So I want to do a quick little thing on hard hats, hard hat awareness. Got a little video here of there's a lot of demonstrations. You might have seen them before of guys crushing watermelons. They say a watermelon's density is about the same as a human brain. Granted, a watermelon doesn't have a skull, but it can kind of show you the impact of which when we don't wear a hard hat and we have overhead hazards, what could happen. So I'm going to fire up this video, then we'll quickly talk about some inspections and then date your hard hat, so make sure you get a new one for the up-and-coming construction season if you need one. Why that doesn't work. You gotta see it. Kind of some visual there for everybody with the hard hat. Okay, again, this is an OSHA regulation company policy. Got to wear our hard hats, right? Especially if there's overhead hazards. Got to wear our hard hats. So one thing when we're looking at our hard hats, we want to always make sure we do a quick inspection, squeeze some ears in, it lasts back out, got a good hard hat. If you do that and it stays deformed or cracks, take it out of service. Hard hats are good for about 5 years. One blow, okay? This thing gets run over by a car. You get pissed off one day and you slam it down, it's probably good to take it out. You could have damaged the hard hat. One-time blow, that's all they're good for. Again, this is protecting your most important organ, okay, that's your brain. So hard hats are extremely important. Inside the hard hat, there is a manufacturer date of when this thing was, the birth date of it, when it was made. Usually they're right on the inside, and it looks like a clock. And inside that clock, each in the 1 through 12 is the month, and then in the middle there'll be 12, 11, 10, 15, whatever. That's the year. So you want to go and see when it was manufactured, add 5 years to it. If it's older than 5 years, you should probably take it out of service. It could be compromised. So take a look at that this week, today. Let us know. We have plenty of hard hats readily available. We're always going to supply them to you. We expect you guys to do the inspections, take care of it, maintain them. If you need to change out the suspensions, let's change them out. That's really about it for hard hat safety, okay? It's very, very important that we're wearing these things day in and day out. Is there any questions?
You got, Matt, you got spare
Yes.
Liners and front pads.
We got yeah. If you want new sweatbands, we got them. We got new suspensions. If you really like your hard hat and you want to keep it a little bit longer, we can get you some new suspensions. Or everybody likes to call them the guts of the hard hat. So
we moved to the board, so if they're the MSAs that they have, then I don't have them anymore.
Okay, so yeah, we have a new style manufacturer. So again, and sometimes hard hat stickers comes up. All right, they're supposed to be kind of safety related, project specific related stickers on a hard hat, and you're supposed to be able to still maintain a good inspection of the hard hat. So if there's too many stickers, and it might be hiding a defect, but a lot of the times you can kind of do an inspection from inside. So as long as the stickers are appropriate for the task or project that you might be on, or for training that we might have conducted, those stickers are okay. Any other questions? Nope. All right, we're going to pass it over to Brendan Stringer. He's got some more update on the...
Hopefully no one's throwing them in a bit of anger.
Yeah, true.
And also, what do those cost, roughly?
Alberta, do you remember like
$12.75.
$12.75 for one hard hat? Yep. So here you go.
Morning, everybody. So I just want to run over, last week I kind of introduced the Hilti app at ECI, and, we talked about all the things it's good for and all the things we can do with it. So this morning I want to show you guys how to transfer something like a hard hat from the tool crib to your own personal inventory. And it'll just take a minute, so we'll run through it really quick here. So first, you're going to get to the tool crib and you're going to fire up that tablet that Elliot's got in there, and you're going to see a screen that looks like this. And so this gives you all the possible options you can do. And similarly, if you were on your personal phone, you would still have a screen that looks like this. So the first thing you want to do here is you want to click the transfer button, because you're making a transfer of something. Maybe it's the Polar Penguin gloves, maybe it's a hard hat, maybe it's a safety vest, from the tool crib to your inventory. And so then it's going to bring up a window that looks like this. And so this is asking you the question, what would you like to transfer? And you'll notice there's a little barcode right here. So you can click that, and it'll give you the opportunity to scan something. So in this case, I had the barcode for the Polar Penguin gloves handy. So we're scanning the gloves. You can see it says that the asset has been scanned, and then you can click the Done button. And then it'll bring you back to your cart. And within your cart, you can see that what you have here is gloves, Polar Penguin, the ID number of them, as well as the quantity. But let's say that you wanted to increase the quantity because you always want to keep a pair of gloves on your dash warming up, right? So you can click your three little dots right here, and then it'll bring up an option that says, what do you want to do with this? Do you want to look at more information about it? Do you want to remove it from your cart? Or would you like to edit the quantity? So in this case, we want to edit the quantity, and we can change it. We're taking how many from the tool crib? I want 2 pairs. So I change this, which was a 1, to a 2. And now it'll bring us back to our transfer cart, and you can see that the quantity's been updated to 2 pairs of gloves. So at this point, let's say that's all we need is 2 pairs of gloves. Well, we can click our little next arrow down here. Oops, sorry, jumping ahead. Click our little next arrow down here, and it brings you to the next screen. And so what this screen is asking is it says, where are you putting these gloves? Who's checking them out, essentially? And so I've entered my name in here. So it's as if I'm taking possession of the gloves. And there's a couple things on here that we want to go through. The first is make sure to put your name or your job site or your job trailer, depending on what the item is. Gloves or PPE generally goes to a person. And then you want to make sure that the Collect Signature tab is on. And the reason for this is just because when we use a shared device like the tablet in the tool crib, everything looks like Elliot's completing the transfer because he's logged in on that device. And I want to be able to say, oh no, I certify that I took these gloves. Elliot didn't just do it. I'm taking ownership of these. So once that we verify that's on, and it should always be on, we can click our little next arrow, and it brings us to the next screen. And then this is the signature screen. So The signee should already be there because it's the individual who's completing the transfer, the person who's going to. And so all we have to do is sign. And, you got my fancy signature there. And then we click the check mark, and the transfer is complete. So there you go. Does anyone have any questions? I know it's really quick, and it'll make so much more sense if you go down to the tool crib and click through it and have Elliot give you a hand or come see me. I mean, it looks like a lot here, but once you do it 2 times, you're going to have no problem with it. Ben?
Like walks you right through it anyway. You just keep getting next.
Yeah, I mean, the idea is it's pretty intuitive. Like, there's no place in here for you to click something and then go to the wrong spot. You just click kind of linearly through the process.
You can't shortcut it and eliminate the actual signing. Okay.
No, the signing's required.
So can anyone put their name or just you?
Because I was the signee, because I was completing the transfer, so I put my name. So if you were transferring something, then the signee would say Ken Pigeon, and then you would have the opportunity to sign. And in some cases, Elliot will change this to himself, and he'll sign if he completes the transfer for you.
So if you're picking up something for somebody else,
I would sign for it, potentially.
with their name on it.
You could have their name on there if you didn't change it. But the idea is that it's pretty obvious that this is me. It's just some degree of traceability. Right. Yeah. Generally, the way it's been working is Elliot does quite a few of the transfers. But there are some people, I know that like Corey Rooney and some of the other guys are doing it on their own phones. And so it's just nice to have that traceability.
Yeah, and you can transfer it. You can get something for your foreman.
Sure.
Transfer it to him, but then sign it yourself that you're the one that did the transaction. That's what you're saying.
100%. Joey?
So does everybody in the company have a user? Are they on that list of people?
Yes, almost everybody is. There may be a couple laborers who are not, and if that's the case, we can easily add them. So almost everybody is a location. They can take ownership of something like PPE or whatever it is. Almost everyone has access to the tool crib, and so similarly, basically everyone has access to the Hilti app. And that means that if anyone has a smartphone and wants it, we can easily install it. But if you just want to use the tablet that's in the tool crib, that's totally fine too. But the resource is available for you. Any other questions? That's it. Thank you.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we covered hard hat safety and the app. For announcements, congratulations to Jacob Masher. And Jacob here? There he is. And Jacob is our newest foreman. So congratulations, and he will be leading the paving. Oh, that's great. The new hire, Dave Johnson. Is Dave here? He was a couple weeks ago. He's probably up north.
St. Albans, yeah.
Yep. Okay, so I'll look for Dave and wish him welcoming. And spring the clock's ahead this weekend, right? Already, so that's good. We're on to Eastern Daylight Savings Time. We're going to continue next week at safety meeting at 6:45. We'll be having DMV coming by at 6:45, so we'll be, and I think you've been looking for some questions from people.
Yeah, with this DMV officer, if you have any questions or things that you want some clarity on, let us know in the meantime so we can do a little research and we can kind of do a little Q&A that way.
Yep.
Let's take advantage of a good resource here.
Yep.
Is he, is it a CDL guy?
Yes.
That's familiar with the commercial drivers?
Yes.
Yep. That's their primary.
So let's come see me. Let's write down some questions. We'll kind of take advantage of it.
And let's say PT 360, another wellness visit on March 19th. So that's a couple weeks out. Or, yeah, it's a couple weeks, right? 19th?
Yeah.
Is right here. We're back there, yeah. And that'll be right here, and you can sign up with Alberta or with Health and Safety. And one other thing that I was reminded when Brendan was talking about making sure everyone's gets the opportunity to get on the app. Also, for this email, if you're not receiving this email and you'd like to, and we love to get it around to everybody, it goes out night before the safety meeting. Make sure you get your email address, say to Brendan or myself. And if you're not on here, it's a good thing to be aware of what's going on if you can't make it, or to know what the program is and not to miss announcements. Sometimes we give away stuff too. So for this week's project, we're looking at the Eversource Emerald Street substation. We were hired by Chinbro Corporation. They're out of Pittsfield, Maine, for site and concrete work at the Emerald Street substation. That's in Keene, New Hampshire. There's a Keene, New York, and a Keene, New Hampshire. We're in the New Hampshire side. So the substation is owned by Eversource. They're the power distribution company in New Hampshire. Our scope of work right now has been for two different items. One is the foundation for a switchgear enclosure. It's an existing substation that's older and rough shape, so they're upgrading it. And this enclosure, we've done the demolition of the existing foundation, excavation, subgrade prep. We poured, finished a 60 by 20 by 2'6" thick concrete foundation. We backfilled after, did conduit and grounding excavation and backfill. The grounding and the wiring, the conduit and everything was done by Chinbro. And all that related to switchgear. And then, of course, there's a lot of heat, concrete blankets and other measures to protect the work and thaw the area. And then we're starting now on the new work. There's 600 feet of duct bank excavation backfill on the exterior part. And then there's some other scope of work items that are coming up. So it'll be a continuing job. They're getting it to us piece by piece. And Chinbro is the general contractor, and we've worked for them on a couple different substation jobs now. So it looks like a bright sunny day. Looks like it's pretty nice down there. Well, cold, probably not as cold as here, I would guess, right? The structure, a lot of concrete blankets. Some other fit up and measuring here. I think there were bollards, and there's other, obviously there's a lot of structures and underground stuff in a substation like that. And that's ongoing. So we'll get an update probably in another month or two. And from the photo archives, that's Mike, what's Mike's last name? Shanholzer. He passed away. He had a heart attack, a massive heart attack, and died here. He was probably younger than I am, I would say now at this point. I'd say he was probably, what do you think he was, about 50?
Oh, I don't know.
You didn't know him. Okay, that was a while ago too. So, what's that? Yes. And so Mike is here, and that looks like, Ricky, is that you? No? Oh, come on. Yeah, it looks like Rick. And so we were doing some boxing out an excavation here next to the railroad tracks after recovering from the Westminster derailment, where we supported the railroad and made improvements for the drainage, because what happened, it was springtime, it was just about this time of year, and there was a massive snow melt, and it all kind of concentrated in one area where someone had done some work, a landowner adjacent, disturbed the ground and created a really big problem and washed right down to the railroad and took the railroad out and caused a huge derailment. So that's what we got. Have a good day out there, and remember to set your clocks ahead. Zach McQueen. Toby. Ken Munson. Scott Nelson.